Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to my first sort of garden cast, as it were, for the new year. This is the same garden plot for all the various videos that you saw for last year. First time I was out here was actually last week. We were doing a lot of cleanup with this plot, just sort of priming it, as I said, and putting in some new stuff and getting some stuff ready. So let me give you just a quick tour of where we stand right now. Anyone who was watching last year may recognize the legendary rosebush setup that we have here. These are indeed all the rose bushes that we transferred over from the old garden a couple of years ago that have taken root here. So they'll be showing more blossoms and things like this upcoming here over the next few months. But for the moment, they're just happily sprouting away. We've already got some water done with them. Down some Society garlic down there as well, as you can see, and a couple of other blossoms. So pretty much it'll be like it was before. So don't be surprised to see yet more of those kind of blossoms that you saw in the various videos from last year. Meantime, the main setup right here is before. What we did at the end of last year was where you see all this bark and all that. Underneath the bark is a bunch of layering of sort of garbage bags, garden garbage bags. You can sort of see one right there in the center, sort of poking up a bit. The idea was we laid all this down and then put all this bark over it and other stuff like that just to sort of restock the bark, but also because we wanted to have a blocker against weeds. This turned out to be very effective for the garden plots over on the other side of the main barrier here, sort of looking off over there. So we wanted to replicate this over here. That turned out to be an extremely good move. It was possibly our best move, shall we say, for the entire winter, because it meant that with all the rains we had, and we had a very rainy winter indeed, we didn't have to worry about cleaning up the weeds here, so we were extremely pleased about that. That turned out very nicely, and so we're very happy about that. In the meantime, there's the more roses, as you can see, more flowers right over here, and more Society garlic here. Now, we got the artichoke plants, and last year they were just sort of growing and growing, and this one over here, the big one right here down below with all the leaves everywhere, is still sort of growing. The main ones here finally, however, have gotten some actual artichokes on them. You can sort of see what we have right here. You'll notice we did some trimming on this one. This actually was done last week. I did a lot of trimming just so that way we could have a little more room, have it a little more cleaned up, but also so that way we could sort of get rid of a lot of the dead leaves that were there, sort of open up things for more easy watering, as you can sort of see down there. And as you can see, the artichokes up here are doing pretty nicely. We got some smaller ones coming along, and you know, some insect bits here and there, but otherwise turning out nicely. And so we'll see how this one comes along here as well. And we do have some of the new plants over here, some new basil, tomato, and other things that will be going in. So that's some of the stuff, and we also have an order out through friend Stripey, who's getting more stuff, so that'll be coming along. Over in the second half of the garden, just to start over here, the tomato plants will be over here in this one, the two major ones right here. As you can see, we got set up along with room for more. This is to give a bit of rotation. Stepping along over here, you can sort of see it's a little chaotic over here still. The tomato plants used to be over in this one last year, but it's precisely because we want to sort of like, you know, get a little fresher with the soil and do a bit of rotation that they won't be here this time. We also had some tomatoes right there. Again, that'll be where we put some other stuff coming up. We also have some soil right here and here that we're looking into more. But for the moment, again, the current tomato plants we have in place are there and there. We'll have more forthcoming. We also have sort of a donation tomato, or a little small one right here, sort of coming along with more stuff. And we have, Marianne, a quick reminder, the plants here are...
Radishes.
Okay, we've got some radishes here. And
a tomato.
And the tomato, of course.
And these are paper white bulbs that are about to, that have already bloomed.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the leaves are yellowing, it means the bulbs for next year have formed, and so I'm about to clean them out.
Okay, and those were paper white bulbs. Paper white, is that the name of it?
Paper white, yeah.
And what is that
Slender
for?
stalks with little tiny white flowers that really smell good.
Ah, okay, so very sweet smelling flowers. I wasn't too aware of that myself, so that's cool. So Marianne's going to do some watering there. We have a couple of...
Ranunculus and African daisy. Oh. Yeah, ranunculus over here and over there.
Uh-huh.
And African daisies.
Very good.
And it looks like our gladiolus bulbs are coming up too over there.
Okay, all right, so that's the stuff down there, is the gladiolus? Okay, very good. All right, and let's see, over here we have the squash. That's next to the cabbage. The squash was just one of the ones we recently put in, so this was just put in too. Let me sort of step back a bit. What you're seeing here is sort of the new setup for the trellis over here. We used to have it more at this end over here of this particular bed. Now it's more set up over here for the squash to sort of grow up into, as it were, and we have the cabbage over here. We do have this bed right here that we'll be adding stuff to as well. Over here, as you can see, is the chard with the sort of, well, yeah, sort of grid over it, but the chard itself still thriving well. It has been growing pretty much throughout the winter, still doing well. I've been getting a lot of chard from my CSA, so this is sort of an addition to it. And then down here we have another one of the tomatoes that's been recently put in and growing away. And so that's sort of the overall view of where the garden currently stands. We have other folks showing up here. We also have a composter here. We've been adding more stuff to that. Not really much to show. It's just a composter, but that's where we're putting in some greens here at the end. So we're going to do some more weed cleanup and things like this. Next time I'll be here will be in 2 weeks' time. I will not be here next Friday due to being up at EMP. But when I come back in 2 weeks, we'll sort of see what has further taken root and whether new stuff is in, and we'll give you a preview then. And we'll talk to y'all soon. See y'all.